So that French shirt, so German shirts were long lasting because they did the same thing, you know, using them as briefs. But that one is French. It even has a tag written in French, but it's sort of erased. But anyhow, see, this dates from, I would say, 1900 to 1915, and the sleeves are set in like modern shirts. But these are square gusset sleeves, you know, square cut with galling on top and a gusset, a rectangular piece there. Usually gussets were much narrower than that, at least with French or German ones that I saw, especially the French ones I have, which date from the late 19th to very early 20th century, French countryside shirts, which were constructed like city shirts of way back in the mid 19th century. Usually the gusset is much smaller, and I will not show them again, never mind. But the collar also is set in the same manner. We see the gathering of the small pleats in the back, unlike with city shirts, which have no more gathering by the early 1900s, or even 1880s, or even before. We only have some pleats there, two pleats to gather the back, much less gathering. And so these were actually easier to construct because this imitates the shed that would have been constructed until 1930 in very remote countryside areas of Central Europe, including France and even the United States of America, very southern and remote parts of it. Sheds that would be handmade by the housewife, and these are harder to make than these because of so much gathering. These are pretty much just rectangle and squares. Even the bosom itself is simply a rectangle. This, on the other hand, is actually completely machine stitched. See, completely machine stitched. Everything is machine done. Now, starting in the 1960s, some countryside people would have done these types of shirts by machine, but it was rare. So this is clearly, like the seller had said, TRACKENHEMD, a shirt from probably the 1990s, early 1990s, but very well imitated, first of all, the fabric. Unfortunately, it actually not take starch very well, because it is so thick. It aims to imitate. I'm sure it. Those shirts. These are the original late 19th century shirts I have already shown upon that channel. These are much thicker. But you see the gusset, the sleeves are constructed in the same, but actually there's no gathering on top, but sometimes there was. But you see, very much constructed out squares. In real life, most of them were very long. Now, this is possible that it would have been shortened afterwards, or made short because the individual simply liked to union sword, or they did wear union swords there and they don't want ever to wear it as a nightshirt, or to wear it as briefs. So this is improbable, but I've seen recently, there's one for sale, but it's actually a city shirt, one like that, but very much short. I think it was shortened later on, so it would be less probable in a country shirt, in a peasant, one call them, these are probably peasant shirt. People call them smocks. They're not smocks, they're actually shirts, we're not shirts, and they're tucked into their trousers. And see, that one below. Now I transformed them a bit. I made them so they could take a detachable collar. So I took out that collar and then I made saw the buttonhole there, and I saw the original button that was here back there to take a detachable collar. So that when I wear it, and this collar becomes too dirty after a week, I would wear a detachable collar on top. I only wear this in the summer when I'm not mourning. But see, everything is very. This one is older. This one is probably the oldest I ever had of these 7. In total in my life I had 7 of those shirts. Now 4 dead, more than so much. But this is probably the oldest. This could be back to 1890. The style looks much older, but bear in mind that these come from the peasantry of France, so they would have had much older styles compared to city wear. But then in the cities, they would never have had them quite like that. In all the words, especially not the fabric. This is even thicker than that. This is very thick cambric, linen cambric, which is a very thick linen. That in French they call chanvre, which translates as cambric. It is flax linen, or it comes from flax, but it's not as fine as linen, so it is even easier to make. So instead of making it into thick linen, even easier to make it than thick linen is to make it into cambric. But this cambric is actually quite thin compared to the others. So this is almost like a very thick linen, and this is simply a very thick cotton. And and this is all the original buttons. Otherwise, apart from the color transformation, there were some few repairs, but otherwise this is completely as I got it. And you see there's lots of pleats gathering in the back. The gussets there are tiny in real life. Very few, I've seen very few German, maybe I saw some actual German sheds. This aims to imitate the German shed of the peasantry. Germany, again, and the whole, ex-Hollywood empire, they come to it, had also a big peasantry, and so they had that similar culture of making at least undergarments and trousers. And only I think in some original German sheds to sell upon Etsy or eBay I see a needle as big, gussets, but the max, half that width. This is just humongous. I don't have to have that perhaps in some other either. The colours, one shall observe, are very narrow, like they usually wear for the peasants, at least, peasant shirts. Although often-wise the button was actually sewn at the beginning of the cuff, there sewn in the middle. But this was sewn in the middle was quite popular, especially more in Germany, but especially in the United States of America. Not so much in France. But this, let one compare that to a German, or at least ex-Hollywood empire peasant shed. In other words, ex-Hollywood empire would be the countries, that then became already by the mid-19th century Germany, Austria, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, and Hungary. And I think I'm maybe forgetting one. And in Holland have no, not Holland. And see, to even reproduce that same type of piece, see, it's sort of reinforcement gusset, except it made it very wide and short there. And upon the French original shed there, that probably dates from 1900, it could be older, and it could be newer than 1900, but this is the most likely dating. If you know better, please let me know. But if this was telling me nonsense, like, it's the 1950s, then pray shut up, because we are dealing with an expert. Only if you are an equal expert can you actually tell me something of value. But see, to have a similar piece, except it is way narrower and way longer. I actually saw these pieces upon the original ex-Hollywood empire of French chefs. I never really saw a wide, short piece like that. So this may be a bad imitation. Perhaps a few of them had it, perhaps not all the nerves. But it has a very squared piece. I saw that upon many of the imitations, the brand hammer, I guess that was the brand hammer. A very large squared piece. Now, I've not had a shed with that, but I know there were original sheds with that. Especially with ex-Hollywood empire sheds, especially when it's dating off before. And it did have that in the French sheds, and perhaps the American ones of the peasants. But way before, saying before 1860 or 1870 for the most remote villages, perhaps. And then they did have that for sheds, not very expensive dress sheds, but less expensive dress sheds of the city. But that would have been max in 1840 or most likely 1820 to 1830 max. The bosom I like, but it is not, unlike anything original, except when the very old-fashioned villages still did that in Germany or France, especially until they stopped doing bosoms after 1930, but until 1930 when they pretended to have a bosom. This is exactly that, there's a pretense of a bosom. There's truly only embroidery there running along, and two pleats there, two backward pleats, that is interesting, and two forward pleats there. See, they open up that way, these open up like there, these like that. But there's not a genuine bosom. One you might think, but always we're making them by hand and these will all have marshmallows. Why do the original ones always have a bosom? Well, because it could be recycled more often. See, this is what I did with the shed. I had my plate, a modern shed, completely broke here, and that could not be repaired. So I took one of those that had died in the back and everywhere, and I actually snipped off the bosom and had my cleaner sew it back onto that plate modern shed. And this was what they did. The bosom would really last way longer because it was too large. And with that extra piece, usually the cuffs would die first, and the collar, and then eventually they would get replaced, and eventually the sleeves and even the body would die, and the patch would no longer work. And so they might remove the bosom and use it again. So it was actually on the lungs, and there was more work upon the spot. It was less, and also it was easier. Sometimes they would make a bosom, and everything had to fit around the bosom, hence the gathering pleats. And so then they could also make the shed larger if the person had become obese or whatever by changing the bosom, by taking off the bosom and opening up the shed and making another bosom. So that is the reason for which until 1930, a lot of peasants have, if not most, until 1900, had a genuine